Athens, 399 BCE. The greatest philosopher of the time stands trial, accused of corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. But was Socrates truly a criminal, or was this crime something more dangerous, challenging the very foundation of power? Socrates was often considered as the father of Western philosophy. Unlike other thinkers of his time, he wrote nothing down. His ideas were passed down through the writings of his students, mainly Plato. Socrates spent his life questioning everything, believing that true wisdom comes from knowing that you know nothing. He was known for his unique method of inquiry, now called the Socratic method, which involved relentless questioning to expose contradiction in people's belief. He challenged the powerful, questioned tradition, and made people uncomfortable by making them think deeply about their own ignorance. Socrates was put on a trial in Athens. His accusers were namely Meletus, Anytus, and Lycon, charged him with two major offenses. Here the first accusation on Socrates was corrupting the youth. This charge meant that Socrates was accused of negatively influencing the young men of Athens. But what did he really do? He encouraged them to question authority, politicians, poets, and even their own parents. He challenged traditional beliefs, making people rethink their views on justice, morality, and power. Many of his students, like Plato and Xenophon, became great thinkers, but some, like Alcibiades, were controversial figures. Alcibiades later betrayed Athens, which may have made people think that Socrates' teaching were quite dangerous. So here now, the second accusation on Socrates was impiety, not believing in the gods of Athens. The second accusation was that Socrates did not respect or believe in the gods of Athens. He often questioned religious beliefs and spoke about a divine inner voice that guided him. His accusers saw this as introducing new gods and rejecting the state's official religion. And in a deeply religious society, it is considered as a serious offense. But I think here, the charge of impiety was not just about the religion, but more than it was also a way to silence a controversial thinker who was challenging the norms of Athenian society. After being accused of corrupting the youth and impiety, Socrates faced a trial that would ultimately lead to his execution. Here comes the Socrates apology, the speech given by Socrates during his trial in 399 BCE, as recorded by his student Plato. The word apology here doesn't mean saying sorry, it was just a defense speech. Now here comes the main argument of Socrates. He argues that he never intentionally harmed anyone. Instead, he encouraged young people to think for themselves and question those in power. He also denies being an atheist. He says he believes in divine matters and even has a divine voice that guides him to make decisions. After hearing his defense, the jury voted. The result was guilty by a narrow margin, about 280 votes against 220. Approximately number may be different, but since now he was convicted, the next step was to decide his punishment. This process involved both Socrates and his accuser proposing punishment and the jury choosing between them. However, instead of begging for mercy, Socrates remained defiant and sarcastic. He told the jury that he had actually benefited Athens by encouraging people to think critically. He even said that rather than punishing him, the city should reward him with free meals for life, just like a privilege given to Olympic champions. Eventually, he was sentenced to death, and after being sentenced to death, Socrates spent his final days in prison, where his followers including Plato and Crito visited him. As everything was arranged by his followers to escape him from the prison easily, Socrates denied to do such thing, believing that obeying the laws of Athens, even if they were unjust, was the right thing to do. On the day of his execution, Socrates remained calm and fearless. He drank the hemlock poison without hesitation, comforting his grieving friends as his body slowly became paralyzed. Socrates' death was not the end of his influence. His student Plato ensured that his ideas lived on, shaping Western philosophy for centuries. Today he is remembered as a symbol of intellectual courage, free thought, and the pursuit of truth. A man who chose to die rather than abandon his principles. And this is the story of Socrates, the philosopher who challenged the world and paid the ultimate price for wisdom. Thank you so much for watching the video. Take care.